All right, welcome back to Two Stupid Guys Trade Stocks. I'm Vinny.
I'm Dylan. Today, Vinny's going to teach us a lesson from good old Warren Buffett and all the knowledge he knows about the guy.
Yeah, if you guys enjoy this kind of entertaining stock market content, please consider giving us a like and subscribe below. We'd love to have you hang out on this journey. With that, we'll get to it.
Two Stupid Guys Trade Stocks.
All right, so good old Uncle Warren there, this is actually from the 2021 shareholder meeting, and I thought it was kind of interesting. He had a couple of big points in the beginning, and this was one that I thought was kind of not really well appreciated. And he talked a little bit about what it's like when you have world-changing kind of companies, and in this modern environment where everyone's like, oh man, fintech, that's the way of the future. The space IPOs, like biotech. There's a lot of electric vehicles, a lot of industries that are very promising, and people are just kind of throwing money at them, right? They're seeing the SPACs and IPOs go nuts, right? Robinhood's getting ready to IPO very soon, right?
Yeah. On top of that, it's kind of like biotechs in like 2010, and they're all worth nothing now.
Yeah. So Warren Buffett talks a little bit about how people disregard the sales numbers or earnings. They just say this is going to change the world, and it is the hot industry to be in, right? So he's going to give us a really old Warren Buffett-y example of how that doesn't always work out.
Got it.
1903. When I say old Warren Buffett-y, that's how far back I'm going. So his dad was born in 1903. He said, he's going to talk about the auto industry, right? This gentleman right here, Henry Ford, is standing next to his famous Model T.
Got it.
Iconic image, changed the world, right? Created suburbia, established a 40-hour work week, created the middle class.
He established a 40-hour work week?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
That guy.
Yeah.
Should be 32.
I know, right? The reach of what Henry Ford did with the auto industry has changed the shape of modern world.
Yeah.
Right? So it's pretty hard to argue that wasn't a completely world-changing invention, an industry.
Right.
Yeah?
No, absolutely it was.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you were back in 1903 and you had this tremendous foresight, you were 100% correct. You saw cars and you were like, wow, this is going to change the industry. Just like people look at EVs today and say, wow, Tesla's going to change the industry, right? So, you foresaw this massive interstate highway system come into fruition. You saw this 290 million vehicles coming out on the roads. That's how many cars are on the road now. They said the 40-hour work week, creating the middle class. Henry Ford intentionally paid his workers above average wage, which was $5 a day back in those days, to create a middle class. He wanted his employees to be able to afford his vehicles because he knew other companies in the area would have to compete and match salaries so they could also, other people would be able to buy his vehicles. He was creating a class of people to be vehicle owners.
That's pretty genius. I never really appreciated that. I'm going to be honest with you. I just thought the guy who made cars.
No, he did a lot more than that. He changed the structure of society in order to make his product more commercially viable.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, fascinating, right? But this is the problem. So this is a slide from the 2021 Berkshire Hathaway shareholder meeting, and Berkshire Hathaway owns this company, Marmon. I don't even know what they do at this point. But Buffett put up this slide because this is all the auto manufacturers that started with MA.
I'm sorry. Marlboro, the smoking company, made cars?
I did not know that one. I learned that from this. Maytag, the washing machine company, did make a car. As he said, Allstate made a car, the insurance company.
What?
Yeah. Everyone piled into this industry, right? Because it was the place to be. It was.
This is just like EV companies now, because now there's like 50 SPACs that are EVs, and if you look at their fundamentals, they're not doing anything at all.
Yep. So there were over 2,000 companies that made cars in the United States. 2,000.
There's like 7 now.
7. And then he said, and then it was a direct quote from the meeting. And of course, you remember that in 2009, there were 3 left. right? 3,
Okay.
and 2 of them went bankrupt.
Yeah, that was really bad timing. That's pretty
Yeah,
solid.
yeah. So like you cannot argue that the automotive industry was not completely revolutionary.
Oh,
Yeah,
100%. 100% was right. Yeah, it changed absolutely everything.
yeah. But does revolutionary business necessarily create a tremendous like business? No, I mean industry created business. That's not the case always. So that was kind of Warren Buffett's little antiquated example of how, yes, fintech has got some really promising stuff. The EVs are very promising. Like solar electricity is very promising. There's a lot of really promising industries, and even if you are correct in that those industries are going to change the world, you still may end up with a bad investment.
You know what's upsetting about this is that the vast majority of people are probably not going to watch this because they're going to see Warren Buffett. They're going to
Yeah.
see, well, he's an old guy, he doesn't know anything.
Mhm.
And this is probably the most relatable thing within 2020 to 2021 because the whole SPAC ordeal of all these companies, everyone's hopping on the EV train and a solar energy train. And it's pretty wild because I think like EV companies compared like 10 years ago to now, the amount is unreal.
Yeah.
There's a ton of them. And they're not going to watch that video.
No, exuberance. That it's not just this. You're seeing this like we did our video about how many. You talked about how many different cryptocurrencies there'll eventually be.
Yeah, we started off at 60, ended off right now 4,500, right? Something.
Yeah, everyone's always like, oh, you gotta get in early. You gotta get in early. You do not have to get in early. You wait until these companies have fought it out, and you see who's gonna win, and then you bet on the winner.
Yeah, that is a smarter way to do it. That is pretty interesting. This is awesome.
If you think about how many e-commerce companies there were in in the late 1990s, like 1999, all the way up to there, ultimately, yeah, Amazon won. But what if you had put all your money in like, I don't know, it was buy.com? I can't remember there was some other.
I looked at this recently. There was tons of stupidnames.com, just tons of them. And I had no idea because I was like 8. So I wasn't really into investing yet.
Yeah, the infamous pets.com. I still remember that TV commercial. It's unfortunate. Like, just because you're in a great industry that's going to change the world does not mean that company is going to be there when the profits are to be reaped.
Yeah, well, that's pretty huge. That's a good Warren Buffett lesson.
Yeah. All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Let us know what you think. If we're going to continue this series, it's kind of interesting. I'm a big Warren Buffett fan, and Dylan doesn't really follow him as closely as I do, so I find it a little interesting.
Send this to all your friends who dumped a bunch of money into EVs because this is pretty good information.
Agreed. All right, catch you later.
Have a good one.